Before we start, a quick question. What do these three things have in common? A specific hunting ground, a signature method, and a trophy kept from every single victim. If you said serial killer, you're right. If you said leopard, you've clearly been on the internet too long. And also, you're right. You are watching Zoodoodle, and today we are profiling one of the most psychologically disturbing predators on the planet. Not the loudest, not the biggest, the one that operates in silence, selects its victims with intention, returns to the same locations over and over, and keep something from every single kill. 400 victims, 400 trophies, one cat. The leopard, Panthera pardus, is the most widespread of all the big cats. Lions dominate the savanna, tigers own the jungle, but the leopard? The leopard is everywhere. Sub-Saharan Africa, South Asia, Southeast Asia, the Russian Far East, the Middle East. It adapts to rainforest, desert, mountain, and urban fringe. It is the big cat that goes unnoticed because it actively chooses to. And that is the first thing that separates the leopard from every other apex predator. It doesn't want to be seen. Lions hunt in groups and announce themselves with roars that carry 5 kilometers. Tigers are large enough that their presence reshapes the behavior of every animal in their territory. But a leopard can share a landscape with humans for years, living within kilometers of villages, moving through farmland at night, and leave almost no trace. Villagers in rural India have reported discovering a leopard had been living in the area only after the kills began, not before. Invisible, patient, already there. Now here's where it gets interesting. Most predators hunt opportunistically. A lion sees a wildebeest, the wildebeest is slower than the others, the lion gives chase. It's reactive, it's immediate. There's no plan beyond the next few seconds. A leopard doesn't work like that. Leopards stalk. Specifically, they will follow a single target, sometimes for hours, waiting for the exact right moment. They don't attack when they can. They attack when they are certain. The ambush success rate of a leopard is significantly higher than a lion's because a leopard does not commit until it has already won. But here's the detail that starts to feel less like animal behavior and more like something else entirely. Leopards select. They don't just take the nearest prey. Research and historical accounts both show individual leopards developing preferences for specific prey types, specific locations, specific times of night, and in the documented cases of man-eating leopards in India, specific demographics within human populations. The leopard of Panar, operating in Kumaon in northern India in the early 1900s, killed an estimated 400 people over several years. When the legendary hunter Jim Corbett finally tracked and killed it, he documented something striking. The leopard had operated almost exclusively within a defined territory, used the same approach routes repeatedly, and struck with a consistency of method that Corbett described as unlike any other animal he had encountered in 40 years of hunting. And now we get to the part that nobody talks about enough. Leopards cache their kills. Caching means storing. A leopard will carry its kill up into a tree, wedge it securely in a fork between branches, and return to feed over the following days. This is practical. It keeps the kill away from scavengers, hyenas, vultures, wild dogs that would steal it on the ground. It is, on the surface, a logical food security strategy. But here's what the food security explanation doesn't fully account for. Leopards have been documented returning to cached kills long after the meat has spoiled and is no longer edible. They return to the bones, to the remains. They carry kills significant distances, sometimes over a kilometer, to reach a specific tree rather than using the nearest available one. Individual leopards use the same caching trees repeatedly over years. Not similar trees, the same trees. And in the documented cases of man-eating leopards, this behavior becomes significantly more difficult to explain purely as food storage. The leopard of Rudraprayag, another of Jim Corbett's cases, responsible for 125 confirmed human kills over 8 years, was found to have returned to human remains in locations where no practical food security benefit remained. The return served no nutritional purpose. It served something else. What that something else is, science is genuinely cautious about naming it. The word trophy implies conscious intention, which is a significant claim to make about animal cognition. But the behavior pattern, kill, cache, return, repeat, always the same location, maps so precisely onto what forensic psychologists identify as ritual and trophy behavior in human serial killers that the comparison isn't just provocative, it's structurally accurate. The leopard chooses a victim. It kills with a signature method, almost always a precise bite to the throat or the back of the skull. It takes the body to a specific, personally selected location. It returns. It does this not once, not occasionally, but as a consistent, repeating pattern across hundreds of kills. You tell me what we'd call that if a human did it. Let's actually build the profile. This is what forensic psychologists look for when classifying serial predatory behavior in humans. A defined hunting ground they return to repeatedly. Check. A signature method that remains consistent across victims. Check. Victim selection, choosing specific targets rather than random opportunism. Check. Return to the scene or the remains after the kill. Check. A trophy or physical retention associated with each kill. Check. The leopard of Panar scores every single one. Now, is a leopard a serial killer? No. Serial killer is illegal and for psychological classification that requires consciousness, premeditation, and moral agency in a way that we cannot and should not attribute to a wild animal. The leopard is not evil. It is not disturbed. It is operating from instinct and learned behavior within a cognitive framework we don't fully understand. But here is the uncomfortable truth that this comparison forces us to sit with. We created the term serial killer to describe a pattern of behavior, and that pattern of behavior exists completely, precisely, and fully in an animal that has no idea what a serial killer is. Which raises a question worth losing sleep over. If the behavior is identical, what exactly is the difference? Is it consciousness? Is it motive? Is it simply that one of them can be put on trial and the other can't? We defined the pattern. Nature built it first. One last thing worth understanding. Why the leopard and not the lion, the tiger, the crocodile? Because of invisibility. A lion is large, social, and loud. Its presence is constantly known. A tiger in a region suppresses human movement because people know it's there. But a leopard operates below the threshold of awareness. It is small enough to move undetected, adaptable enough to live anywhere, nocturnal enough to be active when humans are most vulnerable, and patient enough to learn human patterns before acting on them. Jim Corbett, who hunted more man-eating leopards and tigers than any documented hunter in history, said this about the leopard specifically. The tiger, when it becomes a man-eater, becomes dangerous. The leopard, when it becomes a man-eater, becomes something different entirely, something that thinks. Whether Corbett meant that literally or poetically, the hunters, villagers, and researchers who have spent time in leopard country tend to agree on one thing. Of all the animals that have ever treated humans as prey, the leopard is the one that feels most deliberate, most calculated, most like it knew exactly what it was doing. So, the animal that behaves like a serial killer. Not the biggest, not the loudest, the one that selects, hunts, caches, returns, and repeats. With the consistency of method across hundreds of kills that forensic profilers would recognize on a caseboard. 400 victims, 400 trophies. One cat, one territory, one tree. The leopard isn't the most dangerous animal in the world by body count, but it might be the most psychologically disturbing. Because when you strip away the fur and the rosettes and the nature documentary music, what you're left with is a predator that behaves in every measurable way exactly like the thing we fear most about our own species. And it's been doing it for millions of years longer than we have. Pigs eat you when they're hungry. Leopards are something else entirely. If this video got under your skin the way it was supposed to, drop a comment with the animal fact that disturbs you most. Subscribe to Zoodoodle for more of this. And the next time you're in leopard country, look up. The body is probably already in the tree. Stay curious and watch the trees.